Ron McCoy back with more real moments, and I'm recording myself in front of a calendar here on Tuesday, August 19. The calendar plays a very important role in what I get to talk about today. So 1 year ago today, although 1 year ago today was August 20, 2024, it was the eve of the first day of school in Liberty Public Schools, just like now on August 19, the eve of, going back to school on Wednesday, August 20 in 2025. But a year ago, I was still in the teaching game, and traditionally the day before the first day of school was filled with not only anticipation but also much anxiety, because you never knew for sure what you would face on that very first day. And I still remember that whole day over there. I worked at Liberty Oaks teaching fifth grade. It was pretty much a day where teachers were allowed to work in their rooms because the previous night had been back to school night. So I typically did not like this day because there wasn't anything scheduled. And I had sent emails to all of my former students who were still in Liberty Public Schools, wishing them a great first day of school and inviting them to come over and visit with me if they chose. And I did have a few takers for that. Usually that lifted my spirit some, but I don't know, there was something ominous about that day before the first day of school. And the first day of school was fine. It was usually the first day of school, with a few exceptions, went really well. And I was just thinking today, this would have been my 41st year of teaching, and I'm just kind of wondering, where has all of the time gone, which is where the calendar comes in. I mean, if you think about it, my first year of teaching was 1985, 86, 87, 88, all the way through the 90s, all the way through the 2010s, 2020s, up to 2024. It's like, where did all that time go? And I know that sounds cliched to even talk about that, but it's like 10 years ago, I was down here in my basement recording a read aloud for, it was the read aloud was called The City of Ember. I was actually sitting on that very bench over there recording it. There was a calendar behind me. 10 years ago I was doing that. Where has the last 10 years gone? Anyway, at Ross today, the place where I work, my manager announced to the people in the stockroom that I had said I was vying for manager and that I had agreed to have an interview. And then I turned around and said to him, well, I agreed to interview, but that doesn't necessarily mean I want the job. To which he replied, well, if you don't want the job, why are you interviewing? Does this man have no filters whatsoever? He also revealed to everyone in the stockroom who the other candidates were. And one of them works night shift. She's a manager at Ross. She's been there for like 3 months, something like that. And he revealed that she also would like to have the morning stockroom manager position, which in some ways made me feel immense relief, because if she wants it, why don't I just let her have it? And then I can go on being what I am right now, which I mean, it's not perfect, but I don't mind doing it. And I feel like I work hard, and I feel like any manager should consider himself or herself extremely fortunate to have me there, because I know what I'm doing and I do it. I don't necessarily do it without making mistakes, but I at least give my all. And if I were somehow to be chosen to be manager of the stockroom, I wouldn't have a Ron McCoy, in my own humble opinion, to take care of all of these things, because whoever manages the stockroom knows that at least I am going to show up, and there are two others, Kenny and Soba. They're from India. They always show up. They're in their 50s. They're reliable as well, but their English is not as great as it could be. And so I don't know. I felt a great deal of relief when all of that came out because, okay, I'll just let Jennifer have it. That's the name of the woman vying for that position. And then he mentioned someone else who was a cashier up front. Okay, I can't imagine her like being manager of the stockroom. Who knows? This afternoon at home, I'm thinking, well, regardless, I guess I could go ahead and be manager of the stockroom. Work 6 days a week, work 6.5 hours to 7 hours per day. I could manage that. We have an overabundance of boxes of apparel that have built up over the last 2 or 3 months, almost to the point where it's like forcing us out of the stockroom. It's not quite that bad, but if I were to become manager, then that would be my problem, partly my problem. Don't know about that. I don't know for sure, like those people who are already employed or who were employed at Ross prior to my being hired. I don't know how well they would respect me as a manager there if they've been there longer than I, because I've been there 8 months, 1 week as of yesterday. And am I, like, who knows? I want to go and have fun each day. It's not always the case. I do my best, and it's just hard when you don't always feel like everyone there has your best interests at heart. Maybe I'm being paranoid. I don't know. Anyway, my sister Sandy, who I've mentioned before, she was laid off February 24 from the IRS. She worked for the Department of Equity and Diversity and that kind of thing, so it was one of the first ones to go. And so she's had, February, speaking of the calendar, March, April, May, June, July, August, she's had almost 6 months off. She's reveling in it. I've mentioned that before as well, but her income will cease on September 30, and so she has an interview tomorrow with Home Depot for a position where she would work from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. I think it's a.m. doing something in customer service. I'm not really sure how much customer service would be needed from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Maybe 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Maybe it's 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Well, this is our embryo moments, and I'm just going to talk about that here. Let's see. I'm checking her message. Okay, so it is 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., no Sundays. And then I wrote this, that is perfect, very similar to my 5:45 to whenever. I'm already looking forward to hearing about your interview. I also sent her top 33 Home Depot interview questions, and she supposedly is prepping. I'm not really sure how much her job would parallel mine. Something tells me it's something where she will be sitting in an office, maybe answering the telephone, although I looked up the job she is aspiring to have, and it said something about typically there wouldn't be a whole lot of physical effort with her job except on an as-needed basis. Well, you know what? That as-needed basis usually comes up more often than people expect it to come up. So it will be interesting to see what kind of interview questions she actually has. Speaking of Wednesday, August 20, my family and I are going to the movie Freakier Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. And it didn't get great reviews. I'm just going because, it's something entertaining to do. I can always snack on something while I'm watching it if it's ludicrous and boring and something that I'm not interested in. But, it's something to do, and that's okay. And it would probably be over by no later than 7 or 7:30, which would give me still some time here at home in my wonderful place of solace. And that bright yellow wall that you see behind my right shoulder, I painted last August. I repainted my entire house. You can see I painted in bright blue there's the hand. That that pipe that leads from the toilet that's, upstairs. And also there's a bathroom right behind me as well. And painted the whole house because Liberty Oaks, my school, previous school, got painted over the summer. And I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and paint. That way I'll have a nice, cheerful place to come home to. And I had always thought, okay, I can endure anything that principal, whom I despise, threw at me if I have a nice place to come home to, and if I have friends and former students that I can get together with, one in particular that I eat lunch with at Pizza Shop. And I thought, you know what? As long as I have that support, I can endure anything that B, and then 4 other letters, has to throw out at me. This is RM Real Moments. That bitch has to throw out at me. And as it turned out, no matter how much support I was getting at home, no matter how colorful my walls were, no matter how many times I got together with former students and friends at Pizza Shop, it was not enough. And I'm hoping, if somehow I was to be chosen to be manager at Ross after being there 8 months, if by some miracle I would get that job, then hopefully my support system would be enough that I could endure what I would undoubtedly be facing. We have a great crew, great group of people at Ross. It's just, I'm not one of the established people there. I haven't been there a long time, so I don't know. We will certainly see, and of course, I will keep you, that is not a good sign. It should be a thumbs up. I see, I put my thumb. Who knows? Anyway, I will keep you apprised of the progress and developments as these RM Real Moments continue.